Earth sends a final message to the stars. Your end is now certain. Part 1. The year was 2149 and Earth was tired. From orbit, the planet still looked blue and calm. Clouds moved slowly over oceans. City lights glowed softly on the dark side. But behind that calm image was fear that had lived with humanity for more than 30 years. The aliens did not land on Earth. They did not ask for peace or war. They came, struck, and vanished. Colonies near Jupiter went silent. Mining stations disappeared. Cargo ships never returned. Each time humans tried to chase them, the alien ships slipped away like ghosts. People gave the enemy a name because fear needed a shape. They called them the Dominion. John Carter stood inside the Deep Space Relay Center in the Rocky Hills of Colorado. He was not a soldier. He was not famous. He was a communications analyst who had spent most of his life listening to empty space. The relay center was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Tall antenna towers stretched into the sky outside, pointing at the stars like fingers asking questions that never received answers. John rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the main display. Streams of data moved across the screen. Most of it was background noise, old signals, cosmic radiation, nothing important, until the warning light turned red. He straightened and leaned closer. The signal was sharp and structured, not random, not natural. "This is not right," he said quietly. He tapped the console and called the duty officer. "Alex, you need to see this." Alex Turner walked in a minute later, holding a cup of cold coffee. He was younger than John, but already looked worn down by years of long shifts and bad news. "What did you find?" Alex asked. John pointed at the screen. "Incoming deep space activity, same pattern we saw before the Europa station went dark." Alex set the coffee down. His face went serious. "Distance? Far," John said, "but moving." Alex swore under his breath and activated the alert channel. Within minutes, more people filled the room. Engineers, analysts, officers. Fear moved faster than sound. Laura King arrived last. She was calm, as always. She wore a simple uniform with no decorations. Her authority came from her voice, not her rank. "Report," she said. John explained what he saw. Laura listened without interrupting. When he finished, she nodded once. "Confirm it," she said. "Then send it up the chain." As the team worked, John felt a familiar, heavy feeling in his chest. He remembered the first alien attack decades ago. He had been a child then. He remembered his parents watching the news in silence as images of burning colonies filled the screen. Back then, people believed it would stop. It never did. An hour later, the confirmation came back. The signal was real. The Dominion was moving again. This time, closer than ever before. The message reached Washington before sunrise. Within hours, emergency meetings were called. Generals, scientists, and leaders gathered behind closed doors. No cameras, no speeches, just cold facts and worse guesses. The data suggested a large force, not a raid, not a warning strike, an extinction strike. Emma Brooks sat in the underground command room beneath the city. She was the President of the United States, but titles felt small compared to what she was facing. She listened as advisors spoke. Projections appeared on screens, timelines, casualty estimates. None of them ended well. "How long?" she asked. Ryan Mitchell, head of space defense, answered. 3 to 5 months, maybe less." Silence followed. Emma looked around the room. "Can we stop them?" No one answered right away. Finally, Ryan spoke again. "Not with current defenses. We can hurt them, slow them, but not stop them." Emma closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, there was no fear in them, only resolve. "Then we change the rules," she said. The decision was not made in one meeting. It came from many discussions across many nations. Video calls linked Earth's leaders together. Arguments were heated. Fear was strong, but something else was stronger: fatigue. Humanity was tired of hiding, tired of losing pieces of itself one by one, tired of waiting for the next blow. A new idea began to form, risky, bold, dangerous. Instead of staying silent and hoping, humanity would speak, not with requests, with certainty. Back in Colorado, John did not know any of this yet. He continued working, tracking signals, watching the dark between stars. But he felt the change in the air. The relay center buzzed with activity like never before. Alex leaned over to him late one night. "You feel it too, right?" "Feel what?" John asked. "Like something big is coming," Alex said. "Not just from them, from us." John nodded slowly. "Yeah, I feel it." Days later, Laura called a private meeting with John and a few others. They sat in a small room with no windows. A secure screen flickered on. What appeared on it made John's breath catch. It was a draft message, short, simple, clear. Earth sends a final message to the stars. Your end is now certain. John stared at the words. Is this real? Laura nodded. It will be. Alex frowned. We are threatening them. We are informing them, Laura said calmly. There is a difference. John felt a mix of fear and pride. But how can we say this if we are not sure we can win? Laura met his eyes. Because we are not bluffing. Because things you do not know about are already in motion. She did not explain further. She did not need to. Weeks passed. Beneath the surface of normal life, the planet transformed. Factories shifted production. Old shipyards reopened. Hidden facilities activated systems that had slept for years. People noticed the change even if they did not know the reason. The news spoke carefully. Official statements were calm and vague, but rumors spread fast. Something was coming. John worked longer hours than ever. The relay center became one of the most important places on Earth. Signals were monitored constantly. Secure channels opened that only a few could access. One night, John was alone at his station when a priority signal arrived. It was not alien. It was from command. Prepare broadcast array. Full power, all bands. His hands trembled as he followed the instructions. He knew then that the decision had been made. Alex joined him silently. This is it, isn't it? John nodded. Yeah. Laura's voice came through the secure channel, steady, clear. Begin transmission on my mark. John looked at the stars through the reinforced glass. They seemed distant and cold, unaware of the weight about to be thrown at them. Mark, Laura said. John pressed the final key. The message left Earth at the speed of light, spreading outward in every direction. Through known space, through unknown space. Toward the Dominion, it carried no emotion. No anger, no fear, only certainty. Far away, alien sensors picked it up. Analysts translated it quickly. At first, there was confusion, then amusement. Humans were weak, divided, temporary. How could they threaten the Dominion? On Earth, no one laughed. John leaned back in his chair, exhausted. Do you think they heard us? Alex looked at the screen as the signal faded into the dark. Yeah, I think they did. Neither of them said what they were thinking. That once words like those were spoken, there was no turning back. Earth had sent its final message to the stars. And whatever came next, humanity would face it standing. Part 2, the Dominion fleet did not move quickly at first. In their eyes, the humans were small, weak, and reckless. They had seen planets submit without protest, colonies fall without resistance. A single warning message from Earth was nothing. Amusement spread through their command towers. Commander Varak, a tall figure with pale gray skin and eyes like black mirrors, studied the message. He did not understand human emotion, but he knew the words were meant to be a threat. He laughed, a cold sound that echoed in the vast halls of the Dominion flagship. They think they can stop us, he said, his voice carried over the hollow channels. Let them try. We will finish this in one strike. His officers, smaller and sharper in build, nodded in agreement. Their strategies were precise. Their weapons were powerful. They had never failed in thousands of strikes. Why would Earth be any different? Back on Earth, the mood was tense but controlled. President Emma Brooks watched the preparations in the orbital command center. Screens showed the positions of satellites, human ships, and the slow approach of the alien fleet. She was calm, but her mind raced with calculations and possibilities. Captain Lucas Grant walked into the command center. He was in his mid-30s, tall and strong. His uniform was simple, but his presence commanded respect. He looked at Emma and said, "They are coming." Estimates put their main force at 50 vessels near the asteroid belt. Some of those ships are bigger than Mars stations. Emma nodded. And ours? Lucas hesitated. We have 30 ships ready, not as big, not as fast, but we have something they don't expect. What's that? Lucas smiled slightly. Human determination. The president's lips twitched in a small smile. Then let's make sure they understand it. In Colorado, Dr. Ethan Cole worked on the quantum virus he and his team had developed. The virus was designed to attack Dominion communication networks at the subspace level. Once active, it could cause confusion in their fleet movements and even destroy some systems. It was dangerous. If it failed, humanity would lose, but if it worked, it could turn the fight. Olivia Brooks, the chief strategist, stood nearby. She studied a large map showing the path of the incoming Dominion fleet. They expect us to hide. They think Earth will wait for them to attack. They are wrong. We will not wait. We will strike first. Ethan nodded. And this virus is the key. We trigger it at the exact moment and their fleet will be blind. Even if they have better numbers, they won't be able to coordinate. They will destroy each other before they even reach us." "How confident are you?" Olivia asked. "As confident as a human can be," Ethan replied. He did not smile, he did not need to. Confidence in this moment was not about feelings, it was about preparation, precision, timing. Meanwhile, Mason Clark, the lead engineer, oversaw the final modifications on the ships. The vessels were smaller than the Dominion S, but their weapons had been enhanced with experimental technology. Kinetic lances, asteroid missiles, energy disruptors. Each weapon was designed not to negotiate but to annihilate. Mason wiped his brow and looked at the fleet assembled in orbit. "They will not know what hit them," he said quietly to himself. Weeks passed. The Dominion fleet continued its slow approach. Their ships were massive and heavily armored, but they were predictable. Lucas studied their patterns. He trained his pilots to anticipate every move. Every simulation was repeated hundreds of times. Every strategy was tested. On Earth, citizens went about their lives, unaware of how close the danger was. Schools continued, markets opened, families ate dinner together. But underground, hidden from the public, the human fleet prepared for battle. When the first alien scouts appeared near the asteroid belt, Lucas's fleet was ready. 30 ships, small but fast, emerged from behind a dense asteroid field. They had waited in silence, unseen. The scouts detected them immediately, but it was too late. Human weapons struck first. Kinetic lances tore through the alien ships. Asteroids were hurled into enemy formations with precise timing. Dominion vessels exploded in silent flashes against the black of space. Commander Varak did not expect this. He activated the main fleet's weapons, but chaos had already begun. The quantum virus Ethan had uploaded into subspace frequencies spread silently, disabling communications between ships. Formations collapsed. Some ships collided with one another. Others drifted helplessly. Varak's officers tried to regain control, shouting commands that went unheard. Their carefully trained fleet became a storm of confusion. Humans struck with efficiency. Ships darted in and out, hitting the weak points they had studied for decades. Back on Earth, Emma watched the battle unfold through secure hollow screens. The entire room was silent except for the soft hum of machines. When the first reports of alien ships colliding reached her, she allowed herself a small breath of relief. Humanity was holding its own. Lucas's voice came through the secure channel. "We are in position above the Martian belt. The virus is active. Enemy coordination is failing. Repeating, enemy coordination is failing." Olivia tapped a console, monitoring subspace disruptions. "Good, keep pressure. Do not let them regroup. This is the moment we've trained for." The battle stretched across hours. Some human ships were damaged, but none were lost. Dominion casualties were high, their pride and confidence shattered. Still, they did not retreat. They had underestimated humans before. They would not do it again. As the battle reached its peak, Ethan prepared the next stage of the virus. It was designed to be a chain reaction. Once triggered fully, it would reach the Dominion relay network near their home system. The idea was simple: cut off command, disrupt coordination, and make every ship vulnerable. "This is it," Ethan said. "Once we send it, we cannot stop it." Olivia nodded. "Then we send it now." Ethan pressed the final key. The virus surged through subspace, invisible and unstoppable. Dominion sensors failed. Ships turned on each other. Explosions ripped through their fleet. Commander Varak's pride became panic. He had never faced such organized chaos. On Earth, John Carter and Alex monitored the feedback from the relay center. Signals poured in. Every success, every failure, every disruption. They recorded it all. "Look at that," Alex said. "They are falling apart." John did not smile. He was too focused. "Keep tracking. Make sure it doesn't recover." In orbit, Lucas watched the alien fleet burn and collapse. Their numbers were still large, but the precision of human attacks had turned the tide. Each movement was calculated, deliberate, and deadly. The Dominion's confidence was gone. Only fear remained. Still, Lucas knew the fight was not over. The main Dominion force was still alive. They would regroup. They would strike back. "Prepare for counterattack," he said calmly to his pilots. "We hold nothing back." Hours later, as Dominion survivors fled into deep space, Earth's fleet regrouped. Damage was assessed. Repairs were planned, strategies updated. The humans were victorious, but they did not celebrate. Victory was temporary. Survival was permanent. Emma addressed the command center. This is not the end. They will return. We have shown them what humans can do, but the war is not over. Prepare for the next stage. Lucas stood silently, looking at the stars. The battle had proven one thing: humans were no longer weak. They were dangerous, unpredictable, and united. Ethan, still monitoring subspace signals, turned to Olivia. They will never expect what comes next. The next strike will not be defensive. It will be theirs to fear. Olivia nodded, understanding the plan. Humans had learned more than alien tactics. They had learned patience, timing, and fearlessness. The Dominion had underestimated them for decades. Now humanity had the upper hand. Back on Earth, citizens looked up at the night sky, unaware of how close danger had been. Satellites continued to orbit silently. Cities were peaceful. Life went on, ordinary and simple, but humanity had changed forever. The human fleet had struck first and struck hard. The Dominion had learned that Earth was not a planet to be taken lightly. In hidden rooms, secret laboratories, and orbital command centers, humans continued their work. Ships were rebuilt faster, weapons enhanced, and strategies sharpened. They did not fight with emotion. They fought with preparation, calculation, and certainty. For the first time, humanity was no longer afraid of the stars. The message they had sent months before had become a promise. Their end was not near. The Dominion's end was uncertain, and humanity had only begun. Hours turned into days. The Dominion fleet scattered. Some ships tried to return to their home systems. Others drifted in space, lost and useless. Humans had won the first major engagement. Lucas reported to Emma, "The fleet is scattered. We have inflicted heavy damage. They will take months to regroup if they can at all." Emma nodded, her eyes steady. "Then we strike when they are weakest. We do not wait. We take the fight to them. We do not just defend. We end this threat before it returns." In Colorado, John and Alex continued to track signals. The virus had done its work. Subspace disruptions were fading, but the pattern of chaos was clear. Humans had gained control of the first battle. "We did it," Alex whispered. John shook his head. "Not yet. This is only the beginning." As the days passed, humanity prepared for what came next. The Dominion would not forgive the loss. They would not retreat quietly. They would come back stronger, smarter, and angrier. But humanity had something more powerful than anger, technology, or numbers. They had certainty, unity, and the will to survive. In the silence of space, a single thought echoed through human minds and hearts. Earth had sent its message, and they would not stop. And somewhere far away, Commander Varak's fleet began to regroup, unaware that the humans had only just begun. The second part of humanity's stand against the Dominion was about to begin. The war had changed. The Dominion no longer ruled the stars near Earth without question. Humanity was awake. Humanity was ready. Humanity was dangerous, and the message remained clear. The stars would soon know it. Your end is now certain. Every colony they controlled, every ally species, every hidden outpost, they used them all to build a larger fleet. It was faster, smarter, more dangerous. On Earth, people had begun to notice the change. News outlets reported strange ship movements near Mars, unexplained energy bursts in the asteroid belt. Governments insisted there was nothing to worry about. But beneath the calm statements, humans knew the truth. The Dominion was returning. Captain Lucas Grant stood on the observation deck of his flagship. He looked at the stars and the tiny dots of approaching ships. Each dot represented thousands of tons of alien metal, weapons, and lives dedicated to destruction. He felt no fear, only focus. "They're coming back stronger," his second-in-command, Jason Reed, said. "Our fleet is smaller than theirs. What do we do?" Lucas did not look away from the stars. "We fight smarter, not harder. They will learn to fear us, but only if we strike first again." Below Earth, President Emma Brooks and her team met with the top strategists. Olivia Brooks, now a key advisor, explained the plan. It was bold, dangerous, and almost impossible. "We cannot wait for them to hit us," Olivia said. "We have one chance. We strike at their central relay hub. Without it, their fleet will fall apart. Communications will fail. They cannot coordinate. They will destroy themselves." Ethan Cole adjusted his glasses, looking over the technical map. "The jump engine is ready. The virus has been upgraded. If we can reach the hub, we can cripple their entire command structure. It will take courage, but it will work." Lucas stepped forward. "We take the mission. My fleet is ready. We will strike no matter the cost." Mason Clark, the engineer, shook his head slightly. The jump engine can only make one long-range jump. It's unstable. Some of us may not return. Lucas nodded. We know the risk, but we do this or Earth falls. Preparations began immediately. Ships were fitted with the prototype jump engines. Weapons were loaded. Supplies were checked. Pilots practiced the route over and over. Every crew member knew this was likely their final mission. On Earth, families hugged each other tightly. Children asked questions adults could not answer. Some people cried, some prayed. But all knew that humanity was about to fight a battle unlike any before. As the human fleet approached the jump point, silence filled the ships. No one spoke unless necessary. The stars outside were still, waiting. Even the hum of the engines seemed softer. Lucas gave the final order. Engage jump engines. Space twisted, stretched, and folded around the fleet. Human ships vanished from sight and reappeared near the Dominion hub. They were hundreds of light years from home. The red dwarf star that powered the hub glowed ominously in the distance. Massive ring structures surrounded it, bristling with weapons and energy channels. It was impressive and deadly. We are in position, Lucas said. Prepare to attack. The Dominion detected them almost immediately. Alarms rang throughout the hub. Varric himself ordered defenses to focus on the human ships. Thousands of turrets powered up. Energy shields flared. The humans had no room for error. Lucas smiled slightly. Remember, we are faster. We strike precise, hit their weak points first, cover each other. The first shots fired. Human kinetic lances tore through the outer shield. Alien turrets opened fire, but the fleet's small size and agility made them difficult targets. Asteroids previously held in orbit were hurled at high speed, smashing into the hub's weaker sections. Explosions lit up space like fireworks, but deadly fireworks. Ethan monitored subspace channels from his station aboard Lucas's flagship. He prepared the virus for final deployment. One push and the Dominion's systems would collapse. One push and their fleet across the galaxy would be blind. Now, he said to Lucas. Lucas nodded. Deploy. Ethan pressed the key. The virus surged through subspace, invisible, unstoppable. The hub systems began to fail. Communications flickered. Shields dropped unpredictably. Defensive turrets misfired. Alien ships defending the hub turned on each other in confusion. Varric roared in anger. He could not control his fleet. Orders were ignored. Ships collided. Explosions tore through vessels larger than Mars. The humans moved like a single mind, striking and retreating, never wasting a shot. Mason Clark activated singularity charges planted along the hub's power veins. Each charge tore through energy conduits, destabilizing sections of the ring. Sections collapsed into the red dwarf, creating a chain reaction of destruction. Lucas's flagship took fire. Energy blasts hit the hull, tearing through metal. Alarms screamed, warning lights flashed. He gritted his teeth. Hold formation, keep moving, target their core. The hub began to fracture. Massive pieces of the structure fell into the star. Fire and plasma surrounded the humans' positions, but they held. Every strike weakened the Dominion's control. The fleet outside could do nothing as the virus spread faster than they could respond. Ethan watched the feedback on his console. It's working. Their relay network is failing. Entire sectors are going blind. Olivia, monitoring strategic channels, spoke quietly. They don't know where to send reinforcements. They don't know which fleet is ours. They are collapsing. Varric's voice was full of rage. Destroy them. Destroy them now? But his orders were meaningless. Ships misfired, collided, and drifted helplessly. Humans pressed the advantage. Precision strikes tore through command vessels. Entire formations dissolved into chaos. On Lucas's flagship, the crew fought tirelessly. Shields were down in several sections. Hull breaches were patched quickly. Every crew member knew the risks. Every action mattered. After hours of fighting, the hub began to collapse. Massive chunks fell into the red dwarf. The remaining Dominion ships turned back, trying to retreat, but many were destroyed by human interceptors and remaining charges. Lucas looked at the destruction and allowed himself a small nod. We did it, he said quietly. Ethan smiled, exhausted. Not yet. We need to make sure the virus continues to spread. Olivia monitored subspace channels. The cascade is continuing. Even fleets far from this system are experiencing failures. They are blind, isolated, and disorganized. Back on Earth, Emma Brooks received the reports. Her face was calm, but inside, relief and pride mixed together. Humanity had not only defended itself, they had struck a decisive blow. Lucas contacted her directly. The hub is destroyed, our fleet is intact but damaged, the Dominion is in chaos. This was their heart. They cannot coordinate for months, maybe years. Emma nodded. You did more than protect Earth. You have changed the balance of power in this galaxy. Come home safely. The fleet began its return jump, knowing the engines were unstable. One misstep and all could be lost. They reappeared near Earth after several tense minutes, battered but alive. Citizens watched the sky for signs of the returning fleet. When the ships appeared, silent lights cutting through orbit, cheers erupted across the world. Humanity had survived. Humanity had won a major victory. Lucas's fleet returned to orbit above Mars first. Repairs began immediately. Wounded crew were treated, supplies replenished. The fleet was ready again, but now with confidence. Humans had proven they could face the Dominion and strike decisively. Ethan and Olivia briefed Emma. The virus will continue to disrupt Dominion sectors. They cannot coordinate effectively. The chances of another full-scale attack on Earth are very low for now. Emma looked out at the stars. This victory is not just for Earth, it is a message to the entire galaxy. Humans are no longer weak. We will survive, we will fight, and we will protect ourselves. Lucas met with his officers. We have lost friends. Many gave their lives for this mission. We honor them, but we also prepare. The Dominion is still out there. We must be ready. Mason Clark, bruised but smiling, said, They underestimated us. Now they will never forget it. In the following weeks, humanity rebuilt what was lost. Schools reopened, factories ran, cities repaired. But under the surface, humans continued to study Dominion technology, refine strategies, and prepare ships. They did not fight out of fear anymore. They fought out of certainty. Stories of heroism spread quietly. Lucas Grant, Ethan Cole, Olivia Brooks, Mason Clark, and countless others became names whispered in both awe and respect. Their actions had changed the course of history, and far away in broken and dark corners of space, Dominion leaders struggled. Without their central relay, fleets drifted in confusion. Orders were ignored. Rival factions argued. Their empire, once vast and proud, was fractured and vulnerable. On Earth, John Carter and Alex watched the signals from the relay center. They can't recover quickly, John said. This is our chance, Alex nodded, and they won't expect what comes next. Humans had proven one thing: they were no longer prey. They were predators. They struck first, struck decisively, and survived. The Dominion had felt human power for the first time, and it was terrifying. The stars had changed. The Dominion had changed. Humanity had changed. And humanity's message remained clear, echoing through subspace and across distant systems. Your end is now certain. The galaxy had taken note. The long night of retaliation had begun. Humanity would not wait for fear. Humanity would shape the future. The Dominion would never forget the day humans fought back with everything they had. And somewhere far beyond the reach of Earth, the broken signals of the Dominion spread panic, confusion, and the first real fear they had ever felt. The knowledge that humanity was ready to fight. The war was far from over, but for the first time, humanity had hope, strategy, and the upper hand. They had chosen to fight, and they had chosen to win. And the stars would soon learn that humans never fought alone, never gave up, and never forgot. Humanity's long night of retaliation had begun. Part 4, the galaxy was quiet but not peaceful. The Dominion had scattered. Their central hub was gone. Fleets were lost, leaders argued, and communication lines had failed. Isolated sectors tried to regroup, but without coordination they were weak. Humanity had crippled the Empire without a single strike on Earth itself. On the surface, humans began to rebuild. Cities repaired, farms restored, and life returned to its routines. But beneath the normalcy, Earth was different. It was awake, prepared, and stronger than ever. The people had seen what humanity could do when cornered. Fear had turned into determination. President Emma Brooks met with her advisors in the Orbital Command Center. Lucas Grant stood nearby, his uniform simple but still showing the marks of battle. He had survived the strike on the Dominion hub, but others had not. Many brave men and women had given their lives. Their sacrifice had changed the galaxy. Our fleet must remain ready, Emma said. We cannot assume the Dominion is gone, only scattered. We have won a battle, but not the war. Olivia Brooks, her strategist, nodded. We should reach out to former Dominion allies and client species. Many of them have suffered under Dominion control. They will respect the humans who struck first and struck hard. Ethan Cole, sitting near the communications console, looked up. We have the technology and knowledge now. The virus continues to disrupt Dominion sectors. If we act wisely, we can turn enemies into allies without firing a single shot. Emma smiled faintly. Then we do both, prepare defenses and extend an offer of alliance. Humanity cannot isolate itself in fear again. We will survive and we will grow. Lucas walked to the observation window and looked at the stars. His eyes followed the trails of scattered alien ships. Some were damaged, some drifting without fuel, some returning home to fragmented empires. It was a sight of chaos, but also opportunity. We strike when necessary, he said quietly. But we also reach out. We teach the galaxy that humans are not just fighters. We are survivors and allies. In orbit, Mason Clark oversaw repairs and upgrades. The fleet that had struck the Dominion hub was battered but alive. Ships were refitted with new weapons, stronger shields, and faster engines. Humans had learned that technology alone was not enough. Preparation, timing, and courage mattered more. John Carter and Alex Turner, back in the Deep Space Relay Center, monitored subspace channels. The Dominion's scattered fleet sent confused messages, some pleading for instructions, some arguing over territory, some simply reporting failure. They will never be the same, Alex said. John nodded. No, they have seen what humans can do, and they fear it. Even the smallest fleet they see now will be wary. Every system knows what Earth is capable of. On Earth, citizens celebrated quietly, not with loud parties but with understanding. Humanity had survived the greatest threat it had ever faced. Children played outside without fear of alien raids. Adults returned to work, but there was a new respect in their eyes. Humans were no longer just fragile creatures on a small planet. They were a force in the galaxy. In the months that followed, humanity reached out to former Dominion client species. Many were hesitant, but the message was clear. Humans had power, humans had skill, and humans did not lie. Slowly, alliances formed. One silent species joined trade networks, protection pacts, and shared technology programs. The galaxy began to shift. The Dominion's reach weakened, and new coalitions rose in their place. Lucas Grant trained new pilots for the fleet. They were younger, fearless, and eager to learn. He told them the story of the hub strike, of the battles, of the courage shown by every human who fought. The lessons were simple. Unity, precision, and determination could overcome even the greatest power. Ethan Cole continued to study alien technology. The quantum virus was a tool of war, but also a tool of understanding. Subspace signals, faster-than-light communication, and alien engineering became part of human knowledge. Humans were no longer just defending themselves, they were advancing. Olivia Brooks worked on strategy for years to come. She advised Emma and future leaders not just on defense but on diplomacy. Humanity had proven that strength could secure survival, but alliances could secure peace. In orbit above Earth, memorials were placed for those lost in the wars. Captain Lucas Grant, Mason Clark, and thousands of others who gave their lives were remembered not just for bravery, but for their role in shaping humanity's future. Children grew up hearing the story. Schools taught about the day humans decided not to hide, the day they sent the message to the stars, the day they struck first and struck with certainty. It became part of the human identity. Courage, unity, and resolve were lessons passed to every generation. On the distant fringes of the galaxy, fragments of the Dominion still struggled. Some tried to rally, some sent raiding parties, most failed. Their empire was fractured and no single leader could control all. The humans had not destroyed them completely, but they had removed their power to strike with certainty again. Emma Brooks addressed the world one final time after the major battles. We have survived the impossible. We have fought when cornered and we have struck when necessary. Our victory is not ours alone. It belongs to every human who refused to give up. It belongs to every citizen who continued life even under fear. Humanity is alive. Humanity is strong. And we will not forget the lessons we have learned. Lucas Grant stood silently listening. He remembered every ship lost, every friend lost, every moment of fear and courage. He thought about the Dominion scattered and weakened, and about the future humans would face. They had survived this challenge, but they had learned that the galaxy was not a place for the timid. Humans had to act boldly to survive. Ethan and Olivia watched from their stations. Their work was not over, but the danger had passed for now. The Dominion could not threaten Earth again in the same way. Humans had shifted the balance. They had changed the game. Mason Clark, sitting in a quiet corner of a repair bay, smiled faintly. "We showed them what humans are capable of," he said softly. "We made sure they will never underestimate us again." John Carter and Alex monitored subspace channels, watching the scattered Dominion fleets. "They are still alive," John said, "but they are scared. They will think twice before attacking again." Alex nodded. "And we will be ready. Humans do not forget. Humans do not forgive easily. The stars have learned that lesson now." Years passed. Humanity expanded beyond the solar system, exploring, settling, and building new alliances. The remnants of the Dominion became small, isolated threats, unable to unite. Humanity's reach grew, and its power was respected throughout the galaxy. Schools taught that the most important victory was not just in ships and weapons, but in courage, unity, and determination. Humans had faced annihilation and had chosen to fight, to act, and to survive. Memorials above Earth's orbit listed names of those lost, but their stories were remembered by the living. The galaxy learned that humanity would not wait to be destroyed. They would stand, strike, and survive. Even decades later, some alien species still replayed the messages humanity had sent, the first one echoing across space. "Your end is now certain." Humans had not just survived. They had become a power that could not be ignored. They had changed the galaxy's history, and above all, they had proven that when cornered, humanity would fight with courage, skill, and certainty. In the end, the stars knew one truth: Earth had sent its final message. It was not just words, it was a promise. And the promise had been kept. Humans had faced the darkest threat in the galaxy and emerged alive. Humanity would never bow, never hide, never fear. The Dominion had learned the hard way. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders, but humanity was ready. The lesson was clear. Earth's people would protect themselves, fight for survival, and never forget the courage of those who came before. And somewhere in the quiet spaces between stars, the memory of the Dominion's fall remained. A warning to all who might challenge humans. Your end is now certain. Humanity had sent its message, the galaxy had heard it, and the future would never be the same. The people of Earth looked to the stars, not in fear, but with hope, courage, and certainty. They had survived the impossible. They had won. They were ready for whatever came next. The end of the Dominion's certainty was only the beginning of humanity's rise.